Welcome everybody, my name is 𝐏𝐨𝐽𝐬 𝐂𝐨𝐽𝐬 and this is the Market Meditations podcast. We chat with fascinating people from around the world to extract mindsets, routines, stories and habits to help you build richer lives. Meditators, today we chat with David, an incredible individual who's built himself up starting from the bottom. Let's dive into his story, the mindsets he's used to manage to get himself out of a really bad place into a fantastic position, strategies like dollar cost averaging, and the multiple charities and incredible ventures which he pursues. Before we jump into this episode, don't forget that I send hand-picked market news, insights, and education to over 6,000 traders and investors 3 times a week. To get access to this, all you have to do is sign up to 𝐿𝐻𝐴𝐾.substack.com. Market Meditators, welcome to another episode of the Market Meditations podcast. Today, by request of the founder of 𝐿𝐻, Ruben, I have David on the show. Now, if Ruben gives that recommendation, I have high hopes, and I know through our research that David does a lot of cool stuff in the cryptocurrency space. David, thank you so much for joining me.
It's my honor to be here, Cruz. It's really a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure also. Now, unlike a lot of the guests that we bring on this show, you do not have the largest social media presence. I think your activities are elsewhere, at least not on Twitter. Can you tell us a little bit about your background for our listeners who may not have already seen you on Twitter?
Okay, so I'm not that present indeed online because I'm already enough present locally and my agenda is full. I've been into crypto for the last 7 years. My background is actually education. And also with juvenile kids and trying to help them to believe in themselves and to become an entrepreneur and to really find the good stuff in life. 2014 crypto, got involved into a scam. I didn't know what it was, and it took me 2 years to figure that out. And then I kind of dove into what is this actually, because I figured out that my own ignorance was my own mistake. And so then I got fired at Coca-Cola, where I was working as a forklift driver. Funny enough, Dave Clark, they called me. And then I got like reorientation, and then I figured out I'm gonna go blockchain, and so I did an internship in a blockchain company, Settlements, in Leuven in Belgium. And there I became a community manager, and that was really fun. I learned a lot about blockchain, a lot about crypto, and then I saw, a lot of Ponzi's coming up and stuff like that, but I didn't saw any education. So I started giving workshops about Bitcoin, what it is and what it does, and fast forward 2021, I kind of grew organically here in Belgium. So I have 17 to 20 students coming in every week. So I don't need to be online. Not at all.
See, I love to hear that you don't need to be online, because so many of the cryptocurrency preachers and communities are online on Twitter, but they don't realize the impact that they can actually have in their local circles. Like as little as teach your friend about Bitcoin, go to your local business and tell them, hey, I want to pay in Bitcoin. I've got some effortless solutions for you to be able to accept Bitcoin as payment. There's all sorts of platforms out there now that can do it, but no one really talks about this. So what do you do to help, or what have you been doing all this time to help spread the word of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Well, in the beginning, I bought Bitcoin in around $300, and then it went up, and that was free money for me, and I was like, I'm just gonna give it away. I like Satoshi meant it to be redistributing of wealth, actually in white paper. So, and actually, I started giving out some like 10 euro, 20 euros. Friends of my very good friends, 100 euros, and that 100 euros today is a little bit more now. So, and the best way to learn about Bitcoin is to experiencing actually it. So, and then just give people some crypto, and not really talk about speculation part, but also talking about being the custodian over your own assets. That's not such a bad idea these days. and also for the first time in history, there are rules without rulers. So I kind of like that. And that kind of got me involved into crypto and education part of it, and data, being owner of your own data. And for me, Bitcoin was the first technology actually that makes it possible.
$300 for your first Bitcoin. That is really early, and you just gave it all away, which really is, like you said, in the spirit of Satoshi.
Yeah.
So what was your plan? Did you just go in and buy some Bitcoin? Was it an investment, a trade? Was it a buying into the belief at that time? What was it?
No, it was actually a funny story. I got divorced, and I was
That doesn't sound funny.
well, actually, it is because that kind of shit situation where I was in, I kind of my bills were higher than my income because my ex-wife was gone. And so I had to find a way to go make some money, extra money. And then I went online and I saw this like, okay, you can make some money online. And I saw Bitcoin, and then I saw trading, and then I saw, like the new opportunity. I'm not going to call any names here of the pot, but then I saw network marketing, MLM. And then I got involved into that, and that the bad side, the dark side of it. And then I went back, to the basis, to Bitcoin, because I knew I'm not part of the management team, and I want to be the custodian as well of my own, settings, of my own way of where I wanted to go. And knowing that I was not part of the management team, even though I had a big, large team in the network marketing company that I was in, involved also in crypto, I realized there's only one person you can trust when you're involved with money and with crypto. That's yourself. So, but how do you go obtaining that? Is like by educating actually people and yourself. So I started doing that. Like I said, 𝐵𝐷belgium. I started with 𝐵𝐷belgium doing workshops for 50 years, and the funny part of it is like people got 10 euros on their wallets. We gave 10 euros towards charity. That was in 2016. So that 10 euros they gave, it's like they got their 50 euros way more back. So it's even more. And we did good stuff with it. So we bought food, water, clothes, primary goods with it for refugees in Calais and Dunkirk in France, and also went actually giving out the food and the water towards people from Syria.
So, David, you mentioned this scam you were involved in a few times. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Like, what sort of scam was it? I know a lot of people have lost a lot of money to different cryptocurrency scams because, as good as it is, it does make it pretty easy to scam people.
Yeah, because you go like, Bitcoin has no company behind it, and that has a company behind it, has a project behind it. So I was like, yeah, the real people behind it, like, okay, cool, this is really cool. And they get you by winning your trust, and they go to the meetings, and they set up this blockchain thing, but it was just a database, and just digital numbers going up, yay. And also they had like a really working card, a MasterCard. It really worked. You can send crypto, fake crypto towards each other. There were even stores you can even pay goodies with. It was the Octa 888, the nano coin actually. And then it kind of evolved towards 𝐕𝐸, and now it's probably something else. So I don't even follow it anymore. But and the thing is, I also got my friends into it because I was really convinced about crypto, and was like, this is the future. This is it. And I kind of also, when I really, 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 really realized that was actually a scam, but I was already into it, and also my friends, I kind of really like I went into a depression. Then I had two options. Dave, you can sit down in a corner and whine about it, or you can just pick yourself back up and do something about it. And the funny thing is, I kind of went DCA. Every month I went like putting money into it, putting money into it, putting money into it. And all my friends who followed me in the scam, the last month was the best month because I repaid everybody thanks to DCA. I repaid every penny.
Last month.
Yeah, last month. So I just typed everybody on WhatsApps like, dude, I have a present for you. Because people are always pointing fingers. You got me into this. I lost money because of you, and so that was my goal. I didn't talk to anybody about it because I didn't know I was going to achieve it. But I took like every month 50 euros, sometimes 100 euros, sometimes 150 euros every month on Bitcoin. That dollar cost averaging, and that's the best strategy that you can do. That is also the best strategy that I can teach people. I always say people like trading is nice, but it's not for everybody. And then also in Belgium, it's the highest tax rated. And if you go BCA every month, it's your own God-given rights. You put every month. It's like a retirement pension, but it's better than your retirement. This is really a retirement pension. But if you look at Bitcoin, what it did for the last 2 to 3 years, over 1,000%. For being a trader, you have to be very good trader to outperform that. It's just one time a month, no emotions, no headaches, no stress. And that is the best way to go about Bitcoin, just to DCA your ass of it, actually. So for 36 months to 60 months, 2 years to 5 years, because if you look at the market cycle, it's obviously, so it's the best.
It's it really does seem like the monetary side only mattered to you in when you mentioned paying back your friends or making sure the bills were being covered. Besides that, did you have any monetary goals? Like I imagine DCAing all this time has gotten pretty good results for you. What are your goals right now? Because I don't know. Are you enjoying the money for yourself? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing like charity. I do a lot of charity projects. I have 5 charity projects running actually. So and actually a lot of teaching. So I also teach people to give. Every student that comes in, like they pay us in Bitcoin, and always tell them what kind of charity do you mostly are resonated to, like something for human beings, something for animals, something for education, something for nature, or just a timeout project. I have 5 projects, and they can choose. So, but we are brought up in the I society, and now we're going towards the we society. It's about giving. Giving is living, and living is giving, and that is something we need to learn. And if I look at our younger generations, we have to focus on that. Our generation starts to say we're fucked up. So but it's, we're all in this together, right? In this big pandemic, and then now we're looking towards the probably economical crisis. This is gonna hit us in a few maybe months or maybe years, a recession or maybe a depression. So, and Bitcoin is the best hedge against that. So it's leaving the gilded cage and owning your own assets, because now your assets are with the banks, and as we all know, it's only 10% is yours and 90% is from the banks, because they lend it out, fractional reserve banking. So it's not a bad time to own your own assets.
It really isn't. And that's why most people are probably listening to this podcast. Either they already do or they plan on doing it. And what you spoke about, both from a charity perspective and a business perspective, giving makes the most sense. I've I've been an entrepreneur for the last, how old am I now? 26, started at 21. That's 5 years. So 5 years I've been building businesses, and the ones that last, the ones that keep going and do well, are the ones that give more than they take. Those are the ones that work. So even if you're not trying to be a nice person, if you're not trying to be a good person, if you're selfish as hell, you should still be giving. You should still be charitable, because it's the only way you can work in a transparent society. The banks can do stuff behind closed doors, but crypto brings everything out onto the ledger. Everything is in broad daylight, so people can see what you're doing.
Yeah, and also the fun part of it, people can actually see then what did you do with my €100? We can actually also show them. We bought food for dogs for like for the animal shelter, or we bought clothes for the refugees, or it's really fun to see, and it's really cool. And I also believe in karma and doing good stuff, paying it forward. That's very important these days. So and it's also very good and fulfilling as an entrepreneur, to not only see that your students are doing well, that they're becoming financially free and independent, but also that they're also learning to give, and it's a win-win situation for everybody. And I encourage every Bitcoin dude and dudette out there to start giving and teaching and preaching about Bitcoin, not in the speculative kind of way, but really in like reading the white paper, what it's actually all about. I also talk to a lot of people who have Bitcoin. They don't even know what Satoshi left us on block 0, for example. So the narrative has gone berserk, and about just gains. But that's the same shit all over again from the old cancer world. But it's just a new suit. And that's not how Satoshi wanted us for us to be.
Yes, I mean the vision is definitely one of a different infrastructure, a different society, and I think we are seeing steps in that direction because Bitcoin was step one. It showed us that it could be done. It introduced the base technology, and then on top of that came Ethereum, and suddenly we could build whole decentralized systems. And then on top of that, now we're seeing the DeFi space take form, and that is beautiful, David, because right now I have less than 5% of my entire net worth on a bank because I can borrow on DeFi, I can earn interest on DeFi, I can lend on DeFi. I don't need the banks for anything anymore except the fact that some people still use them. Like, that's the final barrier to overcome. So absolutely agree with you there. The importance of charity and giving, and I love the word you use, financial freedom. Your students, they're not rich, they're not millionaire. They might be rich and millionaires, but that's not what you focus on. The only point is financial freedom. Beyond that, you're not going to find happiness. There's a recurring theme, David, with a lot of my friends right now in the cryptocurrency space, that they've made 7, 8, some of them even 9 figures. Like 9 is very few, but 8 figures is not that uncommon. And they're depressed. They're not happy. Their life hasn't changed one bit. That Rolex doesn't make put a smile on their face. They're not suddenly getting all the girls coming to them, and if they are, they're getting the wrong type of ones coming. So you need to realize that once you gain financial freedom, the rest is about like really knowing yourself, really becoming a part of society, giving what you can, or just finding out what makes you happy. And I promise that's not money. It's unique to everyone. So David, could you tell us a little bit about your charities? You've got 5 you're running right now, and I'd love to hear all about them.
Well, the first of all, I've been doing now for the last 3 years. It's about refugees. The second one I just started. It's an animal shelter for dogs. The second one is for blue bonds. It's for algae in the coast of Ireland, where it cleans up the oceans for nature and for environment. And the fourth one is for about education, for teaching young children to become an entrepreneur. And the fifth one is actually to like children or people who have like bad home situations, like time out, like really time out, like guidance with volunteers, people who just want to talk and being there for the people, community service, and and teaching people about happiness, like you said, because happiness is an inside job, and we all go through bad stuff in life. We all have a sad story to tell, but honestly, nobody gives a fuck. So stop whining and start dining with us, and mindset is everything. I come from the gutter. I come from really, really, really deep down in society, but I managed to crawl out of it because I had a mindset that was bound for winning, not in gains, but in riches in my own heart and head. Now I have crypto, and crypto went up, but I've been living like this for since I was young, because a rich life is not money. A rich life is filled with beautiful moments with friends and family, and when we die, we leave a legacy. I don't have any children, but I have a godchild. I put it 1 Bitcoin aside of her. She's 10 years old. Her name is Madeline, and she's the daughter of my best friend. We know each other since we were 14. We never had an argument in our whole friendship. We always have fun and making fun of everything. And I learned that those things are the most precious thing in life, and just being good person, and just try to teach and help and reach out to people the way you wanted to be helped and reach out to. It's very simple.
David, how do you cultivate that? Because you said, to quote yourself, you came from nothing. And now you have what most would consider a lot. How do you maintain yourself? How do you not lose yourself to the temptations that come with having that sort of wealth? Because right now you could have bought yourself Lamborghinis and Rolexes and been spending lots of money and traveling the world in luxury, whatever your fancy is. but you kept yourself the entire journey when you've never seen that sort of money or wealth before. What allows you to do that?
Ethics, norm and values. My grandfather, who fought in resistance in the Second World War, he taught me always choose right, always help people, lead from the back. Don't be in the spotlight, help people. You can do this. Yes, you can. And push them in the back. By it pulled me out by helping others. If you're sad, find somebody and make them happy. Then you will happy together. If you're lonely, just reach out to somebody. There's always somebody else who's also lonely. And also start analyzing yourself, like the situation and I am today. Do I like it or not? Do you want to have a good day or want to have a bad day? The answer is always we're going to have a good day. But if you have a bad day, then start analyzing it, like, why do I have a bad day? And then seeing that because of this person, because of this situation, because of work. And if you don't like those three things, quit it. And if you feel something good that really like, yeah, I like this, but my family and friends are telling me not to do it. The number one reason, Karush, why people fail is because they listen too much to their friends and family. That's it. Because we're brought up like this, like don't go dreaming. Put your feet on the floor, but that's actually the wrong way. We should endorse entrepreneurship. We should, be creative about it and help people. Paying it forward really helps.
That's some really, really fantastic wisdom over there about self-awareness, analyzing yourself, and it's something I'm guilty of. I get lost in. Sometimes I'm always working. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and maybe sometimes I don't pay attention to which part of this work makes me happy and
Do you
which part of
meditate?
this work
Do you
does it.
meditate?
Oh, it's one of my favorite things to do. Yes, hugely. 8 years now. Hugely into the meditation. And okay, so I detected some of that understanding, actually being self-aware of what's going on, directing your attention to the right places. A lot of our listeners have heard me talk a lot about meditation as well. And it's just important for traders and investors, because if you're trading 24/7 behind a screen and you're not enjoying it, what is the point? It's not the most rewarding activity to do. David, tell us a little bit about meditation and what role that plays in your life.
It's like, our body needs daily food. It's our soul needs also daily food. And for me, meditation, like half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, is such a delight. It's clearing the mind. It's really letting everything go. It's just in silence, you can find answers. I discovered it because I was 40 days in prison and in another life of mine, and I was incarcerated because I did one snitch friend, and it was really fun. That was one of the best experiences in my life, to be in prison actually for 40 days.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We need to hear more about that, David, if you're comfortable sharing.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I come from the gutter. I come from the streets. I was also a juvenile kid. That's why I became an educator, because there was an educator who taught me to, like, Dave, you have more potential inside of you than you're showing. You're just being a badass dude, but you don't have to be that. You have more potential inside of you. And so I decided to become that guy to also help other kids. And yeah, being brought up in a rough neighborhood, doing stupid stuff. Then we got caught from doing the stupid stuff. And, you don't snitch on friends, right? So, and yeah, they put me in prison and yeah, for 40 days. But it was the best experience ever, actually, because they took
What was prison
everything.
like?
Yeah, in the beginning, you're scared as shit. Because yeah, you think about the soap, right? You don't want to drop that. But that's all bullshit. So it was really fun, actually. I came inside, they had PlayStation. They're like, what the? So so it was like I came inside and, like, Tomb Raider. I was, after 5 minutes, I was playing Tomb Raider. So I'm not very proud of it, but I mean, like, the reason why I got incarcerated, I'm not very proud of it at all. But the end of it, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because they take everything from you: your freedom, your number. They even take away your name for a while. You're just a number. They call you by a number. And that made me realize, like, yeah, lower than this I can't go. The only way is up now, right? So I was in 2009. And so a funny thing was like the 15th of January is like that just a few days after like Bitcoin came out. So and
Yes.
funny story. And yeah, and for me, the rock bottom became the solid foundation where I rebuilt on my life. So whatever happens to you in your life, like I said before, we all have a sad story to tell. Use it. Use it as rocket fuel. Use it as nuclear energy. Like just show them that you can do it and prove them wrong. And which I'm doing right now.
You are, man. This story is getting better and better. You absolutely are. And the correlation between meditation and, I mean, what we're trying to do with meditation is get to nothing, lose the name, lose the identity, lose the ego. And they did that for you. And you reacted well to it. I don't imagine everyone reacts as well as you did to it. I mean, why, David? Why did you choose that path of winning? Was it good parenting, your grandfather's influence? What made you keep choosing that path? Because so many people would have given up so far down the road where you did not.
I had no other option. I was going back to my little corner and be all sad about myself, or just don't underestimate the power of little steps. Uh, the reason why I'm so popular locally because I grew organically. I don't have to make sponsored ads. Be yourself. Be your authenticity. Be your authentic self. Be weird as fuck. So be you. There's nobody else better than being you than you, right? So
Yeah.
and we all want to be, popular. We all want to be this person or that, and that is wrong with the world today because we're all focusing on the outside, while actually the answer is on the inside. And being in prison taught me that too, because I had no other options.
Popularity is just like money. Like you get it and you think it's going to make you happy, and it brings more problems than it actually fixes, of course. Well, I mean, would you agree with that one?
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm not so keen on being online because like now people are popping out like mushrooms out of the ground. Like now Bitcoin is going up, and they're all going into Bitcoin for the wrong reasons. So that's not my intention at all. So if you want to be like, yeah, I want to be a trader, I want to be alive, I want to make money, then I'm not your guy. Then I'm here to teach you how it's supposed to be, and I'm going to teach you. I'm going to be like Mr. Miyagi all over your ass, like
It's a great reference.
patience, Daniel-san, patience, Daniel-san.
Patience is the way to go for sure, and that's what you circling back to what you said about the small steps. That's the power of patience, because consistency is what most great accomplishments are born from, and consistency is just daily micro goals every single day. So start with tomorrow. Whoever's listening to this is in a rut right now. 10 minutes of meditation. They are the day after. Yeah.
The best guy to follow about patience is Gary V. I love the dude. I love the
Yeah.
dude. He's one of my heroes out there. I have Fonzie, for that was my first hero, Fonzie, the Fonz, and Gary V. So yeah, he's the best.
I'm a huge Gary Vee fan as well. We're actually trying to get him on the podcast as well.
Oh, that
So
would be
yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. I think he's incredible. Really promotes the right stuff. And what we were saying earlier, the reason Gary's a businessman. Gary's trying to win at business, but he knows you have to give to win. So he just gives, and he wins from it.
yeah. And if you give, you get back. That's karma. It's been like this since the beginning of mankind, and it's always going to be like that. It's nothing changed because we became modern society at all. In the opposite, it went away. The money became the new god, actually, while actually, just giving to somebody doesn't mean you have to get something back, because when you give with expectations, then you lose. And that is something really to take into consider, because if you give constantly with knowing that, or wanting, I want something back from you, no, then you don't get it. Then you don't get it.
How do you deal with that? Because I know a lot of people, when I tweet about this, for example, one of the most common questions that comes up is, if I'm kind, people just take advantage of me. So I just give, and I get nothing back. What do you answer to someone who tells you that?
Well, you also have to put your boundaries because there are also a lot of leeches out there. So you have to know yourself, and you have to put your boundaries. So you can ask me stuff, I will do for you. But if I see that you're just coming towards me just that I give for you, yeah, just gonna fire you out of my life. I'm just gonna cut you out of my life. That is something also you need to do. You also have to be sometimes the arrogant asshole that you made me be because I gave you and you showed me something else. I'm gonna put you my cheek, but if you're just gonna keep on hitting on it, like, okay, man, that's your loss. So it's like the Gandhi stuff, like hit me, and that's not gonna happen. It is what it is. You just proven yourself towards me. I don't even have to go digging deep by knowing yourself. I put up a mirror, here, and this is the result that you're giving me. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna thank you for that. But there are really gems out there. Everybody wants to be diamond, but very, very few wants to get polished. It hurts. It hurts to grow like a motherfucker. Really it does. Really. I've been there, done that. I've been to everything. I've been to everything in life. But that's really good because it's not losing when you learn from it.
Besides prison, are there any other key events that have really helped you grow in life?
Reading the Bible, reading theological stuff, thinking about life, thinking about spiritual stuff, Buddhism, and
And how do
really,
those two coincide? Buddhism and the Bible? Isn't there a contradiction there?
yeah, of course, but you take like the good stuff out of it, like the pick and the mix, and like you put your own sauce over it, and you do like, and then you go out and do your own authentic self, and just try to be a good guy. That's not always working as I wanted to, but I'm also a human being like everybody else. Uh, and but try to be the best version of yourself. So it's and like don't be afraid for perfection because you will never reach it, like Salvador Dali said. So and try to be the best you can be.
That's some really fantastic advice, and I love how we've combined on. I wasn't expecting you to be a meditator. It's always a pleasant surprise when a guest on this show meditates. You shared some fascinating stories. I love the mentality that hopefully this podcast can push forward onto our listeners, something that will help them find happiness and make the world a better place at the same time. David, I'm going to make sure to list all 5 of your charities in the description below. So if any of your listeners want to go check them out, they can do so with that. As we draw to the end of this podcast, is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners with? Just a goodbye, or you've had fun, or just some words of wisdom?
Take care of your neighbor. Be good to each other. And if you being an asshole or jerk, try to capture that for yourself and see how that goes. See how you feel about that, and just be a good guy.
And short, simple, but packed with wisdom. Listeners, I hope you have gained a lot out of this episode. Thank you for joining me again on another episode of the Market Meditations podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Market Meditations podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like us to continue bringing you fascinating people from across the world, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you like to listen to these podcasts, and share the episode with a friend. If you have feedback or an idea for a potential guest, reach out to me on Twitter at 𝐿𝐴, and do not forget we write a newsletter covering all important topics in crypto and traditional markets. We send it out 3 times a week, the Market Meditations newsletter. You also get early access to these episodes, and you get transcripts and extra notes as well, so make sure to subscribe there as well.